Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Nurnberg. Now I've got a couple things to say real quick. First of all, I appreciate everybody that comes to the channel and I really appreciate honest feedback. But sometimes you've got to think about what you type in, okay? I love to upload my videos. I really do. That's why I enjoy it. This is a hobby of mine. I do it after I work full-time. Like, this is my wind-down time. I come home, I take a shower, I eat, and then the next thing I do is jump on and start recording for you guys. And I really enjoy it. But some of you, and I would dare say some of the newer folk, I understand that you're passionate about the game, and I understand that you really want to see more World of Warships out there, but please, calm down. I am one person who works a full-time job, and, you know, I do as much as I can. I used to do 2 videos a day every single day, 5 days a week, but I realized I say very quickly, 2.5 years into it, that I just can't keep up that volume. It makes me miserable. I don't want to do that. I do this because I enjoy it. I don't want to be miserable. That being said, hope you guys had a great weekend. I didn't mention it in the last video, but we jumped on this afternoon. I know I got to get ready to go with Bullvi. We're going to jump on his stream here in a little bit, here at 7 o'clock p.m., which is roughly in an hour from now from recording this. So I was in kind of a time crunch. I was like, you know what? What video could I do quickly? And so I was like, wait, the Nurnberg was just updated. Let's take it out for a spin. If it's still terrible to play, then I can say it's still terrible to play. But fortunately, that wasn't the case, and this was actually the very first match I played in it since the update. So hopefully you guys are ready to enjoy. We're going to get out here, we're going to have some fun. Now our front turret gets knocked out, our steering gets knocked out, and we're on fire. And we're sailing into an island. Now I'm about to go ahead and throw this thing in reverse. Not going to help much, but it should help a little bit. But we've got the high explosive loading into the guns right now. We've got a New Mexico charging us. We have a Queen Elizabeth out there in the distance. And we had the Nurnberg, which we took a good chunk of his health off. I'm not sure who is behind me shooting the Nurnberg. Somebody got a good chunk off of him. But we are going to be a firebug in this one. We've got those 150mm guns that cycle really fast. And we are just going to try to burn everything down. Kind of like an Atlanta, but not quite as dramatic as the Atlanta. The Atlanta does set things on fire and keeps them there, but it kind of fires so fast that it's just really dramatic. Now, we just set that Queen Elizabeth on fire again, and he had just put his fire out. So, he's going to burn for a while. I forget what the exact time is for the consumable to come back, but I think it's something like 2.5 minutes, so he gonna be burning until that fire goes out on its own. He ain't even gonna be able to fix it, which is preferable for me as a firebug. Now, I noticed the New Mexico steering away from our destroyer, so being a cruiser that actually has the ability to torp people, which I'm not used to as an American cruiser player, after Tier 5, or after Tier 4, you don't get torps anymore. But having them, and having decent torps, and the ability to use them, I go ahead and I set an ambush. Now, this Queen Elizabeth has bad intentions, but I can't really say I blame him, because we are just nickeling and diming him away. Now, he gets the fire put out eventually, and the New Mexico sails right into our trap. It's the situational awareness to be able to help multiple engagements at the same time that you get in cruisers. That's why cruisers are so important in this game. They're not the most amazing ships in the game, because you kind of have a bad rap. If you screw up, you die. Quickly. And in a hurry. But they're so beneficial as an everything player. It's like a medium tank in World of Tanks, but not quite as easily played. And the reason I say they're not quite as easily played is because in World of Tanks, medium tanks still have some of the best armor in the game. Whereas these have citadels, which destroyers don't seem to have in the game, and they have just enough armor to allow you to be citadeled with impunity at times. So you've got to really think about what you're doing when you're in a cruiser. And that's why I feel a lot of people are kind of turned off. And I'm not saying that I'm not one of them. I don't play cruisers a whole lot, and for the same exact reason. I know how beneficial they are. I know how amazing they can be when you've got a good cruiser player working with your team and doing everything right. Problem is, it's not the most glorious position to be in. You're in a ship that can be easily destroyed. You have pretty decent guns. A lot of times you have decent torpedoes, but in the American case, you don't even get torpedoes. So in the worst situations happen, you don't have anything to defend yourself. But you also have sonar, and you have radar a lot of times. Now, obviously, we have a plane and we have hydroacoustic, which helps us find torpedoes. But, you know, once you get to the higher tiers, you usually get that radar, which can spot destroyers hiding around an island ready to absolutely nuke you. Now, I make a mistake here, and I pull out in front of this Queen Elizabeth because it's a Queen Elizabeth, and I'm assuming he's going to be shooting high explosive. That's what everybody does in British battleships. But apparently he's had enough slinging high explosive at me, and he loads armor piercing, and I get very lucky that I don't get deleted outright. And I've already thrown the ship in reverse. I know I'm going to try, and we get the fire again. He puts it out immediately, and that's what you've got to avoid in a battleship. I've went over this multiple times. Anytime you do that in a battleship, you are absolutely begging for the enemy to set you on fire again. As soon as we see you catch fire and then you immediately put it out, you are just a instant target for anybody firing HE. Because now we know that the next time we set a fire, you're going to burn for the next 2 minutes probably. Well, you're not usually. I think it's usually about a minute per fire. But you get what I'm saying. You're going to burn a long time, and that gives us a lot of free damage. As you can see, we've already brought up 80,000 damage in this match. Now, we've lost a lot of health, so we've got to be careful. I don't want to push back out on that Queen Elizabeth while he's still looking at me. But the Queen Elizabeth went down. Thankfully, our team actually took him out. I don't know if it was the destroyer out there ahead of me, or if it was the guys that were next to me. Or behind me, behind the islands over there that are shooting across the map. But now that he's down, and that's the immediate threat, and I've got some distance between me and the Scharnhorst, now we get to sit back and do what Atlantas do, which is just rain fire on everything. And pray to God he doesn't look at us. That's the thought, and that's what we're going to do. But, as any Atlanta would attest to, when you are in a cruiser that's very lightly armored, as this is, and the Atlanta is, and you're in the open water against a battleship, it's just a matter of time before those guns turn your direction. Now, I turn and try to get away from these rounds, but unfortunately, he gets 2 nasty penetrations on me and takes almost all of my health, leaving me with just 2,300 to go. But we're at 90,000 damage. We've set another fire. We get a good salvo on him, taking a nice chunk off of him, and we get the burn to death. Get the arsonist, knocking him out of the match. Now, the Atlanta over here is just absolutely begging for it. So we go ahead, start firing our fire at him, and he's going to do what Atlantas do, which is sail behind the island, but he's already in trouble. He has to come out from behind the island he's hidden behind this entire time, because I'm here and I'm in range to shoot him. But what that does is that puts him out in front of my entire friendly team, which is still quite healthy. So now you're in the middle of the ocean, and you have lots of people within range to shoot you, and you're in Atlanta. And I'm trying to, like, place where he's at behind the island, get a couple sneaky shots in there. I didn't manage to do it. But then he starts sailing towards me. He's no longer behind the island. I can easily line up my shots. He does turn much faster towards me than I was expecting him to, which gives a nice juicy broadside to half of my team that's over there in the B cap. And that makes it nice and easy for my team to do some damage. But we're going to go ahead and keep spamming HE anyway. We're getting good hits, doing some effective fire. Now, as soon as he gives me more than a 45-degree angle here, I start loading armor piercing. Because now he is in danger of being citadeled by my 150mm guns. And wait for it. Come on, baby, light my fire. Pow! Ah! Not quite enough. It's probably because we're a little too far away to citadel him, but it doesn't stop us from trying, and that gives us our high caliber, and we win the match. So, what do you guys think? Have you guys tried the Nurnberg since it came back? Nice and buffed? I say since it came back, it never actually went anywhere. But if you tried it before the patch and now after the patch, I think you're going to enjoy it a lot more now. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.